This is the Hymer Venture S, which has just been released into the visiting public. These people around me now are all journalists from various countries. So this vehicle, which undoubtedly is, maybe it's the most revolutionary vehicle. It's been, when it was presented as the Vision Venture 3 years ago, people were putting up all sorts of things on the internet, most of it completely untrue, about how wonderful it was as a motorhome, but of course only one of them was ever built. Well, they've done better this time because they've got two. One's there in this very nice blue colour, and one's there in this sort of light grey colour. So there's two of them. Now I will be doing videos to tell you more about it later, and but I've just been to their press conference and I have a few observations of my own. And the first observation is this: is that vehicle is pretty high. Now, some base facts on it: 645 centimeters long, it's only 216 wide, and the height without the bed is 307. So on a 4.1 ton basis, you're probably, I don't know what's inside it, but I suspect we're looking at around 600 kilos of payload, something like this. So there's plenty of payload. But now, just looking at the thing from here, you've got, with the bed up at night, you're getting towards what, 4.5 meters in height. Now the bed itself, the tent in the roof, is insulated. Now this was originally a cooperation between Hymer, BASF, Mercedes, and I think there was somebody else as well. And so the materials from BASF, lightweight insulating materials. Now the tent in the roof also is sound insulated. Whether or not it's as good as you would get, for example, in a motorhome, I don't know. I've got to say, in my opinion, it isn't too bad as far as sound insulation is concerned. That's mine, which is pretty old, but these Hymer things, the new ones you see around you here, are going to be even better. So it's an off-road vehicle, and let's have a look around, because it's got one of the things it boasts about is this sun deck, which I cheekily call the rain deck. And what we'll do is have a walk in here, and you can see we've got the rather pleasant looking lounge area. You've got windows all the way around, so they're darkened from the outside, but from inside I believe they give a very pleasant view, clear outside. It's a bit difficult to say from in here because we're in a hall, and it certainly has a very fresh and different look to it. For a house it'd be great. But whilst we're looking at all these new innovations, and the lights have gone off, and there's one thing that absolutely stands out, and that is the lack of storage capacity. And in particular, there's nowhere to put a bike. So it's all very well talking about freedom unlimited, or whatever the language was being used, but most of us, I think, have a bike. Now, if you don't have a bike to carry around with you, and you're thinking about doing some hiking or something, but it doesn't quite strike me as a vehicle for hikers. I'm not suggesting you can't do any hiking. I'm sure you won't get fined if you go hiking with one of these, unless you park it somewhere it's not permitted. But that's part. I'm trying to understand the demographic of the buyer, and being on that subject, on the subject of the buyer, this thing here, they say 225,000. Well, that's a starting price. I don't know what the real price is yet. The real price that people are going to end up paying for. So if you've got a base price plus delivery, when you've got delivery as an extra, then you've certainly you can't call the base price. And I understand things have to be delivered. Stands to reason. Now, here we've got a better view of the tent in the roof. Let's walk over to the other one, in fact, because that other one's got a slightly different colour scheme. Now, you get into the tent in the roof via a set of steps, which have been quite nicely put into the vehicle. Let's just have a walk around on this one, see if we can actually see it. So we've discovered where how to make an extra bed at the back, and that actually might make more sense than this bed in the roof. Well, it's a queue to get in here, so I'll just sort of point the steps out. There we have the step. Nein, aber sicher. And doesn't matter. We'll have a look inside later. But there you had a look at the steps going up. So I mean, the vehicle is extremely striking. That I have to give it. So what I've tried to do here is that you've got these journalists down here. There'll be all sorts of other videos on YouTube. We're presenting how wonderful the vehicle is, and don't get me wrong, I do think it looks very nice. And if Hymer were to say to me, would you want one of these, I would say yes please. But if they said to me, you can have any vehicle you want, but you've got to live in it for the next 5 years, I wouldn't be choosing this one. So I'll be choosing one of the other ones, and the reason for that is its practicality, the lack of storage, the fact there's nowhere really except on the here you can put an external bike. Yes, okay, fair enough, because you can see down here you've got the bike rack. I think it's meant to be a bike rack, has been added to it. But that there's another feature it's got, which I might be able to point out if I come in through this way, which is a table for people who want to work at the computer. So the computer table goes with the passenger chair, and it fits into the wall here, and maybe you'll be lucky enough that somebody's actually opening it. So you can see there's the computer table, but and this meant to be a workstation down here. The electrical points down here, so you can sit at your computer table and actually work there. Okay. Okay. Well, it's not a bad idea. It's got Hymer Connect, and so it is a motorhome, as you can see. It's for the rather than a camper van, I think. And no, I mean the body is. It looks a bit like a camper van, but it's a motorhome. Good. Anyway, so look, I've given you some of my opinions there. It's just I've read the technical stuff. I haven't driven it. In fact, next to nobody's driven it. But I've got to be realistic on these things. So anyway, that's the way I see it. Anyway, let's just have another quick walk around this one here. I think I prefer this colour actually. I like the slatey bluey rather than the light grey better. But one thing I've got to say, it really is thinking outside the box, and that is something I always appreciate. And bear in mind, what I have told you, it's about practicality. And I'm trying to be practical from the point of view of somebody who lives in a motorhome. But that may not be the target audience of this van. It might be people who want to sort of show things off. It's a bit like somebody buys a Ferrari and somebody complains that there's only 2 seats in it or something like that, or there's no space in the boot. So it depends what you buy the vehicle for. Some vehicles you buy because they're cheap, others you buy because you like the colour, others you buy because you can live in them and there's plenty of space for your stuff, and others like this is great for short trips out with a 4x4, go up the mountain for a week or something like that, something along those lines. Finally, I didn't actually say this, but But I have my doubts as to what you can do with a vehicle that's that high. How would it, when there's a wind gets up, you know, sometimes when you're in your van, you can hear the van move normally. But what's it going to be like with that, with a tent like that up? That I don't know. Now with a normal tent in the roof, well, why don't you write down what you think? A normal tent in the roof, I think, because of the weight of it and the way its construction, I don't think it's likely to be, I don't know, too destabilized. Anyway, write down what you think. I mean, clearly I've never slept in a tent in the roof, so I don't know. So if you have done, then write your opinions. I do accept, however, you know, BASF did this, and it's quite, it's probably warm enough inside, and of that I'm going to accept what the manufacturers say. Oh, another thing about the tent in the roof, you can see in the other one there, you've got you can actually open it at the top, and that'll be quite nice to look at the view in the morning or something like that. Well, I have to say that, yeah, it does actually extend, get extra possibilities. Was it Caravan Mobile 2 years ago introduced something called the View, and the view being that you could open up the front of the tent in the roof. Right, good. So I'll tell you what, whilst I'm here, let's have a look at what else we've got here, because there's another vehicle that I'd like to show you, which is really unusual. And let's see if we can find it. So anyway, there it is. This is the Bürstner Lizio Gallery, it's called itself. What a fantastic looking tent in the roof. Now I don't know if it's the same materials as the other one. You're looking for this thing here, 105,000 euros. But it's so original. Not only that, it's got steps up inside, like the Vision Venture, and or Venture S, I should say. And I like the way it doesn't look like a tent in the roof at all. I think that's, to me, I think that's really very, very clever. Not only that, you could just about use that in the street, and nobody would be any the wiser. Unlike the Venture S, I mean, you're parked in the street somewhere, and you open that up. I appreciate it that maybe things aren't designed to be slept in the street in, and but let's face it, I bet all of you out there with van lifers have done it when you had to. But anyway, there's that. You could just stand and nobody would be any the wiser. Anyway, how tough are these things? That I don't know. And that's a really good question as well. How easy would it be to puncture it? What if you sort of kicked it in the night, and would your foot go through the wall? I don't know. So anyway, there's another new feature here this year at Caravan Salon. There is a fully electric camper van. That's the good news. The bad news is it's not for sale. It's just a show show van. So that when I saw it, it's got. I think I would estimate that it's got a range of let's say Ford. Somewhere about 180 to 200 kilometers based on the battery capacity. I don't know exactly. This is Niesmann Bischoff, and I'll just go past here. So there's these rather. This is the top of the Hymer Group range, and they have this here. We have down here Ice Mauve, which, in my opinion, the internal part of this vehicle are the most attractive thing on the market. If I could have anything, it'd be this. Well, but there's got to be a but. Unfortunately, from the technical side, the reports that I'm getting, and my own looking at that is all negative. Things break, and it's not much good having a van where things are broken inside. It is such a pity, though. It is a design masterpiece inside. If only it worked. It's lovely. Anyway, you can see that in a different video. I did have a broken one in my hands, and I did sort of video parts of it, and before getting kicked out. Anyway, I might I'd have to put that together in parts, that video. Right, so we have the Leica range. Leica is also a company in the Hymer group. And there's Nissan. Never seen Nissan here before. And of course, Nissan doing these electrical things, but they're not much better. They are camping cars. Right? It's a car you can sleep in. So no toilet and no shower. You can't not have a shower in a vehicle, in my opinion. And so we've got LMC, sort of a more traditional stiff upper lip type manufacturer of motorhomes. Camper vans. They're doing camper van now on Ford and on Fiat. Which do you think costs the most, the Ford or the Fiat? I think it's the Ford. I forgot the answer to my own question. Anyway, I think it's the Ford. Like here, if you come here to Dusseldorf, you will see that because Hymer Group wasn't here for 3 years, it's going to be 2 years with COVID and with restrictions, and so they said that from now on every other year they're going to come here. So next year they won't be here, so after 2024 to see Hymer again here. And it's here, but they've been put at the very back. This is quite some distance from the rest of the event. So they used to have, I would have to say, the Hymer brand had the best hall. Now, in year 1, 2020 of COVID, it was left empty. But obviously last year, when Hymer sort of announced it wasn't going to be attending, they gave it to Rapido's in. Pilot Group is in there now. So Pilot's now got the best hall. And you have a walk around the Hymer brand hall. Only company, Deathlifts, isn't here. That's got a whole hall to itself. But as you may have noticed, if you've been here in the past or seen my videos in the past, you'll notice that it's nowhere near as big as it used to be. And so, there you go. Hope you found that little wonder of interest. There will be other videos on the Venture S. I wanted to do this one now, just it's just come out. I wanted to show it. I wanted to put this realistically. I do pride myself on actually giving people the truth, as much as possible, rather than the hype. When I do things, there'll be, for every video that tells you the truth, there will be 25 that give you the hype. And so you got from me the real facts of this vehicle, except for the problem on knowing what the real price is, because we just know what they say the price is at present. But they are going to build, they say, a limited number, because that's either A, all they can sell, or possibly in the current market, B, all they can get the vehicles for. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found that interesting. All the best from me in Dusseldorf, Germany.